Hey everybody, for bloodhorse.com, I'm Evan Hammonds and welcome to After the Wire. Now with 4 weeks to go to the Derby, we had 3 big prep races from coast to coast, so here we go. At the Big A in New York, they ran now let me see if I can get this straight, the Resorts World Casino, New York City Wood Memorial Stakes. When you're offering $1 million, they can call it what they want. The race figured to be a 2-horse race between Gotham winner Alpha and Winstar's unbeaten gemologist, and it was, right down to a dramatic neck finish. As to who got the most out of the race, I'd say it'd have to be Alpha. Now, Alpha had not proven to be a very good gate horse, but the son of Bernardini went into the gate by himself and behaved under jockey Ramon Dominguez. He broke from the rail, and as they rounded the first bend, and with several others gunning up for the lead, he had to check, got sucked back into 5th position. Will he see something like that again in a 20-horse field in the Kentucky Derby? Most definitely. Meanwhile, gemologists broke sharp under Javier Castellano and had a great trip all the way around, sitting just off a brisk opening pace of 23 set by the lumber guy. Now a 24-2 second quarter and a 24-4 third quarter slowed the tempo as gemologists sat waiting to pounce. Alpha was still inside as they rounded the far turn. Dominguez had to go to the whip, which is never a good sign on the turn, but it did rouse Alpha, and he responded coming around horses. Will he have to come around horses or between horses again in a 20-horse field in the Derby? Most definitely. Those two separated themselves from the rest of the pack, and there was 3 lengths back to the 3rd place horse. Now both colts were game, but I don't believe Alpha ever got his nose in front, and he fell a neck shy. They finished up the 9 furlongs in 150 4/5, with a final 8th in 13 1. And the winner earned a Beyer speed figure of 98. It's a solid fig when you stack it up against the other Derby contenders at this stage of the game. Now, gemologist has already returned to trainer Todd Pletcher's base at Palmetto's Training Center in Florida, where he will remain before shipping to Churchill Downs on May 1st. That's the Tuesday before the Derby. Pletcher said the plans for the unbeaten son of Tisnow are to breeze twice between now and the Derby. Now we remember, gemologist already has 2 wins over the Churchill track on his resume, so Pletcher's in no rush to get him to under the Twin Spires. And we figure he's probably right now going to be a solid 2nd choice behind Union Rags for the Derby. Kieran McLaughlin, the trainer of Alpha, said his colt did everything right, and the key was he got valuable experience both before the race and during the race. Now the day after the Wood, McLaughlin's quote was pretty simple. Good in the gate, took dirt, ran great, belongs in the Derby. It was a real, true, great prep. We couldn't have said it any better ourselves. Now in California, we had the clash of the Titans in the Santa Anita Derby between San Felipe winner Creative Cause and Robert B. Lewis Stakes winner I'll Have Another. And man, did we have a battle. In this one, I'll Have Another, who hadn't been out in 2 months, was the one who got the best trip, and it may have helped him get the nose decision over the 4-5 favorite Creative Cause, who had a rail trip after breaking from the fence. Tracking a very moderate pace set by the Bob Baffert trained Blue Skies and Rainbows, a 47 flat opening half. You don't see that in Southern California too often. Both top dogs had their work cut out for them, but both came with their best shot and colored the pace setter inside the 8th pole. At the wire, after a final 8th in 12 2, there wasn't much separating the top 2. Now the Santa Anita Derby winner hasn't won the Kentucky Derby since 1989, when one of my all-time favorites, Sunday Silence, turned the trick for the bald eagle, Charlie Whittingham. But several have come out of the Santa Anita Derby to where the roses since then. Some that come to mind are Giacomo, Silver Charm, and Real Quiet. I'm usually a sucker for horses coming out of the West Coast of the Derby, and I really liked I'll Have Another off his sharp effort in the Lewis. He'll head to Louisville with only 5 starts under his belt and 2 this year, but I really like this guy's tactical speed. It's funny that the TVG Illinois Derby offered half the money of the Wood, but drew more than twice the horses. 17 horses passed the entry box, 14 of them started, and done talking past 11 of them on his way to winning the $500,000 race in an anemic 153 4/5 seconds. 4 of those runners, including the winner, came out of races at Aqueduct, for crying out loud. Now, done talking, he's got the come from the clouds running style for the Kentucky Derby, but I'm a little suspect of who was behind him in the Illinois Derby, and the time was wasn't more than, but it was just under 2 seconds slower than last year's Illinois Derby won by Joe Van. Now the Skedaddle Associate trio of Willie White, Robert Orndorff, and Lou Rehack will take their shot at the Roses, and we can't blame them. Now for a long time the race was run between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, so it wasn't really a prep for the Triple Crown races. But as a prep, got to remember, War Emblem ran out of the Illinois Derby and into our hearts a decade ago. A quick final shout out to Lexingtonian Alex Campbell Jr. and his homebred Carvoli Vary. Big win Saturday in the Central Bank Ashland Stakes at Keeneland. The man's been in the game a long time. He's had some big time success with horses like Queen's Court Queen and Mr. Purple, but it's a long time between drinks in Grade 1 company for this Grade 1 guy. Here's hoping his filly gets a big run in the Kentucky Oaks. I hope you've enjoyed watching After the Wire. Come back next week where we'll take a look at the Toyota Bluegrass and the Arkansas Derby. For bloodhorse.com, I'm Evan Hammonds. Thanks for watching.